And now, Kyle and Steven present another episode of the Go F Yourself podcast.
It's Fix.
Really? Well, that's embarrassing.
The Go Fix Yourself podcast.
Welcome to the Go Fix Yourself podcast, the podcast where we are fixing ourselves one conversation at a time. And today is no different. A little different, but not super different. I am joined by, as always, Kyle Redding.
What is up, everybody? Happy to be here on your screens. It's a little different for us being apart from each other because usually we just are looking at each other's side profiles while we interview attractive guests all the time. Now we just have to interview each other this time.
Yeah, and so for the newcomers, I am Steven, and Kyle is my co-host, and we are the hosts of Go Fix Yourself podcast. Now, we usually have guests on, and we usually do it in person, but today we are actually digital. If you're watching the YouTube video or if you're listening online, it might hear a little bit of difference, and that's just because, hey, you know what? Life gets in the way. Life happens, dude.
Yeah, you know, when you go real hard for a few months, I mean, we were doing good. We had guests every week for now almost not 10 months. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, since August, and you know, eventually the body wears down, and somebody gets sick, and we got to reschedule some guests, and that's okay. Steven's pushing through.
You know, so that's what happened, and we'll give a recap. You know, we'll talk about how the last several months have gone, because that's what this podcast used to be. It used to be just me and you talking. It used to be just like literally whatever came to our noggins, just off the top of the dome. You know, just conversations, me and you. And so I think that's what we're gonna give it. You know, give it back to the future a little bit, back to the past. Actually, if you remember, I posted this on Instagram. One of our reviews on Apple Podcasts was by none other than Harvey Butthole.
Old Harvey. He's
Old Harvey.
Unfortunate last name. You know, he's had to live his whole life with that name, and he probably got bullied relentlessly.
It's unfortunate. But no, he posted these like, I like the podcast, but I wish you guys would just go back just to Kyle and Steven just talking. So this podcast goes out to Harvey today, because it is. We're just going to be talking to each other. But why we're doing it digitally and not in person is because we had, like Kyle said, quite a week. And I worked myself to the bone, but also partied a little hard. And so, of course, with that comes a little bit of you know, the body needing to repair.
The worst case of crabs I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's been awful, guys. I got to be honest. No, I've got the common cold. It's not COVID, but we decided, hey, you know what? We're just going to do it digitally. We've had a few guests reschedule, and so we didn't want to break our streak of doing a podcast every Monday, because I don't think it's been since last July. Then we had we took a break. Of having a podcast every Monday. And so I was like, I don't know if I can do that. I like the streak that we're on. Let's keep it going. And so hopefully guests will return next week. Possibly you might get us again. I don't know. Right now it's all up in the air. But you know, you're welcome.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can go back a couple months, because like we said, we used to do that all the time, just catch up with each other and talk about what's going on, work, family, blah, 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 blah. And now that we've had guests, we kind of have been telling you guys all about, you know, interesting people that we have met or known or whatever it is, and they get to kind of highlight the talent and the depth that of the people that live in Alaska right now, which has been awesome. A lot of great reception, but
real attractive people too.
Oh, the most attractive. Yeah. But I think we can probably go back. You had when we had Susan on not too long ago, she made an announcement on the podcast about a band.
This was before we even announced it live, but the podcast hadn't come out yet. So
True.
It was like a little, whatever. But yeah, we opened up for Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, it was Steven's band Thera was one of the openers along with Del Mag. And, when you hear Limp Bizkit, you think greatest band ever or,
That's certainly
Rollin',
me.
Nookie, Break Stuff.
Greatest band ever. Funny. It's funny because like I'm in a band with two other guys and whenever we're like just palling around, just the boys, we listen to Limp Bizkit. Now, I'm a big fan of Limp Bizkit. Like I remember when I was a kid and like I was writing down lyrics because this is before Google. This is before you can like type in like, Limp Bizkit lyrics. I remember writing down lyrics so I can learn them from Limp Bizkit. That was like the only band I remember doing that for. Don't know why.
Move in, now move out. Hands up, now hands down. Back up, back up.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was actually to take a look around. The Mission Impossible one. But I think it was like because I wasn't allowed to listen to it. I was like rebellious. I was like, this is the most rebellious I could be right now. And so I want to learn this song.
Were your parents like, look at this nerd, like writing down lyrics for Limp Bizkit?
They had no idea because
they're thinking that now.
I have one of my core memories with this band is listening to that, writing those lyrics in my family's minivan, waiting for youth group to start at our Baptist church. Yeah. So that is a very core moment in my brain. And so anyways, whenever we listen to this band, the other guys in the band, Ronnie and Mason, who we've had on here before, they're like, ha ha ha, yeah, Limp Bizkit. Like they listen to it like it's just
like it's funny.
Whatever. It's funny. It's like, but like I know a lot of those lyrics and I'm like, I go way back with this band, right? It was like my first like rebellious streak. And I'm like, I love this band. I love them. And so like they found out that I was a hardcore true Limp Bizkit fan. They're like, oh, you're like a fan.
You're an actual Limpy is what they're called.
I'm a Limp Bizkity, man.
Yeah. Going to that show was pretty awesome. You guys played a great set. Me and the wife were there early. We got to see the openers. Molly was also, she's not a true Limpy by any means. So she was like, I just want to go see Thera. And, she's got a woman crush on Stephanie, of course. She's like, I just want to see her. And then I'm probably going to leave. And I was like, you know what? That's cool with me. I'll find my way home.
Good. Did she actually like you guys drove together and then she just left?
Bingo.
She left you there? Oh, so you had to Uber home.
So we'll get to that because that was an adventure in itself.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah. So I realized that I'm getting old because that was a long concert. They played for what, hour and a half?
Hour and a half, yeah, ish, yeah.
So you add in openers and all that stuff. It's a 4-hour ordeal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And standing on cement floors, like my feet, my back, I was like, God dang! Yeah. Like I was leaning on stuff. I was like, man, I'm too old for this. But man, when Limp Bizkit came on, I was thoroughly impressed with their sound. I was like, yeah, God dang.
Me too. I was fortunate enough to catch a little bit of their sound check, which is like mind blowing because they didn't have like roadies sound checking for them. It was actually them. And so it was like that was still really cool. It was like me and like 3 other people, right? It was just like in this entire arena and like it's Limp Bizkit playing the songs that I want them to play.
Freebird.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm funny.
Sound check. Rolling. Or My Way. So I think that was special because I was like, holy shit, this is like something we'll never experience again. So I was kind of fanboying out. But I mean, it was good. It was a real fun thing. So, for people who aren't aware, I'm in a band called Thera. Kyle was in a band called Witness the End, which is sadly no longer. Rest in peace.
We're on a hiatus.
Yeah.
We're on a
long hiatus. Just like, I mean, Thera's on a hiatus like every 6 months. So it's like, we don't know.
What's funny is our lead singer was there, whose name happens to be Roland.
Oh yeah,
Spelled
we did. I did see Rollin.
ROLLIN,
Yeah,
like the
Yeah.
song. And he came up to me.
he's
like,
named after the song.
pretty much. He was like, "How can I not be here? I am a song of theirs." So
Yeah.
it was good to catch up with him, though.
Yeah, no, it was good to see him for a second. So, anyways, and we played first, for Limp Bizkit, and so I was like, oh, no one's gonna be here. I was like, we're first. It's like, we're literally 7:00. Limp Bizkit goes on at 9:00. I was like, no one's gonna be here, but like, dude, it was crazy when we got out there. It was just like a sea of freaking people. A lot of people came early, and I'm pretty sure it's because we marketed like they want to see Thera, right?
I sent out a lot of Facebook messages.
Thank you.
I was like, guys, we need to get there early.
Yeah.
We need to show support.
Yeah,
And
I knew you
I did my part.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So I was really surprised. That was actually a picture that my buddy Mitchell took of the people, and I was like, holy, that's just a lot of people. Probably one of our biggest shows. Definitely it felt like our biggest show. Definitely one of the biggest
Alaska
national
Airlines Center.
acts.
Yeah.
I mean, we played Alaska Airlines Center before, but there wasn't as many people.
Sure.
For at that time, so it was huge, man. And then just like we didn't get to meet the band, and we probably could have. It would have been super easy for us to have been like, hey, we want to meet Limp Bizkit, but like, I don't know, none of us really wanted to do that. We also had merch, so we were like manning the booth. But I did get to meet DJ Lethal, and I think I might have talked about this on the podcast. Did I talk about it on the podcast before?
I don't feel
My
like
moment
you
with
did.
DJ Lethal. Oh
Nope.
no, I talked about it. Okay, so no, I talked about it on Landmine. So my only one interaction with a band member from Limp Bizkit was DJ Lethal, and if you're familiar, he's the DJ of the band. Like DJ Lethal.
What gave that away? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's the name, the DJ in his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm walking back to our green room, and on our side of the arena, there's there's signs posted on the green room like, hey, Thera, Delmag, you guys are this way. Limp Bizkit, you guys are this way. And then I guess on Limp Bizkit's rider, they have a masseuse. So they want a masseuse every time they do a show. So the masseuse was over near us. And so Limp Bizkit, if they wanted to get a massage, they would have to go to our side of the arena. And so I'm headed back to our green room, and DJ Lethal's walking back from the masseuse. And I give him like a nod, like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, hey, quick question. How do you get a crink out of your big toe? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I got like a kink in my big toe and I can't get it out. And I was like, you need to pop it? And he's like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just went to the masseuse over here and tried to like yank it out, but it's not working. And I was like, well, I mean, like, I usually, if I need to pop my toes, I put all my weight on that foot. And so I'm, here I am trying to tell DJ Lethal how to pop a toe. And then I put all my weight on the toe, and then, that works. And so he tries it, and he's like, nah, that didn't work. And he just walks away. It was like, there he goes. There he goes. It's just like,
Hey,
that was
Lethal?
my moment.
Yeah. Hey,
That was my
Lethal, why
moment.
don't you pop those shoes off? Let me take a look at them. Here, I could do a trick or two. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't go that route, because that
Yeah,
would have
I
been
should've.
memorable for him.
Yeah.
Let me
I
give
usually
those
put my
things a
mouth.
yank.
I usually
Yeah.
put my mouth on them.
Yeah. My teeth can pull real good.
That's so gross. But yeah, that was my one interaction with the band. And so I went back to the green room and told everybody that was there like what had just happened, because I was like, I'm never gonna forget that. DJ
Yeah.
Lethal.
I could have popped his toes, but I chickened out. That is an interesting one.
I could have
but-
gotten a feet pic of DJ Lethal.
Oh, dude, put that on Foot Finder.
What is that? What is that?
It's
Is it like-
it's like OnlyFans for feet.
Oh, I
And
guess
so
that
you-
makes sense. It's like
Yeah,
Quentin Tarantino's thing. huh?
People be making money on there.
Really?
I've looked.
So it's like, so you can start your own profile and then like put pictures
yeah,
of your
it's,
feet
it's
up
like
there?
all feet and like it's weird.
What are we
It's
talking
weird.
about money? How much money? Like, are you on
I've
there?
read about girls like making
You've read
5
about it,
figures
yeah,
a
yeah.
month, and like I support.
Kyle just quit
4 of
his
them.
job randomly and then just was like, wow. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't
told
worry about it. I
Molly.
just retired.
Yeah, I told Molly,
Yeah.
I was like, let's get those puppies up online. No one has to know it's you. And nurse feet, oh my God, people would die for those.
Really? That's a thing?
I'm sure they,
I'm
'cause
afraid
people are
to,
sending
like-
socks and like.
I'm afraid
used
to
socks.
Google this. I'm afraid
Don't
to
be.
Google it, and then all of a sudden Google Ads is like, well, I guess he wants to see
guess he
more of
likes
this
feet.
stuff. It's
You
like,
find
no,
feet.
I don't.
Yeah, it's an interesting world for sure. But the show went super well overall. I think
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. I mean, they did their little trick where they kind of act like the show's ending, and then they kind of like break into break stuff when the lights
Yeah.
were on and stuff, which I get. It just kind of
What I was
lost
really
me.
bummed on is so the night before, me, you, and a few buddies, we went to Limp Bizkit Eve at Willowall.
Yeah.
And that was where Fred Durst and DJ Lethal and the whole band was there, but like it was those two. They were just doing like a DJ set for a few
Yeah.
hours.
Yep.
And then while we're there, I get stopped by multiple Willowall employees, and they're like, "Hey, we're so excited for you to go on stage tomorrow night, but there's something you don't know." And I was like, "Well, tell me, like, what is it?" So I guess Limp Bizkit, throughout their tour and throughout their shows, they've been doing like this SNL thing, and they played the music right before their encore. They're like, they have the SNL like closing music, if you're familiar.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then-
I kind of was like, guys, don't leave yet.
Yeah,
I
and
know
then-
it's
well,
coming.
The whole idea was for them to bring everybody on stage that played the show, and then everybody was going to be doing break stuff with them. And
Yeah.
so Susan, who had been hanging out with Fred Durst and the band, she was like, "Hey, they actually told me they want you guys to come up on stage tomorrow." And I was like, "Holy shit, and do break stuff with them? Like just be there on stage with them?" And she's like, "Yes." So I'm like, "Don't get your hopes up, Steven. This isn't going to happen. Don't get your hopes up." And of course, right before we do that, I got my hopes up. And then of course it didn't happen. So I was like, broken hearted. And like it actually so much so because I was like I was backstage watching, and then like during their break stuff song, the roadies were like, "You guys need to get your stuff out of here. You need to pack up and go." And I was like, "Fuck you!" I don't even think I told you this. I was so angry because there's two songs I want to hear: break stuff and take a look around. And as soon as they started those two songs, that's when they were like, "You need to haul your stuff out of here and get out of here." And I was like, "Fuck you. There's no way I'm leaving." I did it in a joking way, but I think I surprised him a little bit. I was like, "I've been wanting to hear these two songs all night." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, man. Like, but you gotta move the stuff right now." And I was like, "There's no way. Not doing it." I was like, and then all my other bandmates had to go do their stuff, and I was just like, "I'm not doing it." So I had to stay for the break stuff. We didn't get to go on stage, but that was my moment. I was just like, I had to stay out there with everybody and feel
Yeah.
the vibe, the energy, because that was insane, dude. For break stuff, I loved
Yeah,
it.
the mosh pit that I was watching was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And I've seen, and before anybody's like, "Oh, I've seen some mosh pits," like I have too. Okay, I've been to a lot of metal shows, but there was I'm gonna call it this, and I'm gonna regret it, but it was like some redneck rage in there. Like it was like some people
was
looking
wild.
to fight.
Yeah,
That
it
like
was-
don't understand the premise of the mosh pit of like pick people up and like get crazy, but like don't hurt people on purpose.
Well, I think
There was
that's-
people
I
swinging.
think Limp Bizkit draws that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think people like go out and just wanting to start a fight.
And it was like
because people got wild.
The thing I hate is like the guy that's like the mosh pit king, like stands in the middle and he's all tough, like shirt off, sweaty, and he's like swinging
Yeah.
on people. And I'm like, God, that's not why we're here. Like,
Dude.
we're not here to.
You remember
Pull
when
out the
we went to
measuring
go
stick.
see? We went to see POD.
Yeah,
and like it just
same-
so happened.
same idea.
It just so happened that like we were standing next to like the people that wanted to mosh, and it was like it just started moshing, and I was like not in the mood.
I know. It's like, okay, we're going to play our softest song. And then they're like, I'm going crazy.
Like fucking windmills and
Yeah,
shit,
it's
man.
like-
You're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite thing at a show right now. I think I definitely loved it when I was, in my early 20s, but now that I'm in my 30s, if there are guys who are my age and older, like wanting to take rage out, I'm like, go in the back. Go in the back.
Go somewhere else.
Don't do that. And then like I was getting so much like I was getting pushed at the POD show.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, not a fan. And I was like actually getting angry. So I went to the back. Not a big fan of mosh pits anymore in my old age. Surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Crazy.
My favorite part was definitely the part where they brought somebody on stage to do the song. And for the people, I don't remember what
Kathy the Karen the Liar or something like
yeah.
that.
So, you got Wes up there playing the riff like over and over again, like dun, 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 and everybody knows the song. And he's like, who knows all the lyrics to the song? And don't lie to me. And he spends like 3 to 5 minutes going across the front of the stage. Like, do you know all the lyrics? You swear to me? You swear to God? Okay, no, you don't. Goes the next person. And then finally, after 5 minutes, he pulls this girl up. And I looked at her and I was like, there is 0% chance she knows
like
the lyrics.
Older lady too.
Yeah, so he pulls her up on stage, hands her a mic for a song that they go is meant to be a back and forth. Like you'd have to know all the lyrics.
What song was it?
I can't remember. I think it was an older Limp Bizkit song, if I remember.
It is,
correct.
but I can't remember exactly what. Like, anyway, I'm sure. It'll
But
come.
yeah, and so song starts, kicks in, and Fred Durst is like, does his line, and then he looks at her, and she's supposed to like do this line, and she just is mute, and she's just dancing, and then goes back to Fred Durst, and then he's like, boom, and then she's just dancing, not saying a word, and then he's like, stop, I love you, but you're a liar. Like, kicks her off stage, and then she like takes her, she's like, I love you.
Yeah.
It was just
she was on one that
yeah.
day,
But
sure.
luckily, a fellow Kyle got on stage and saved it. Knew every word, killed it. I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah, I guess his nickname now is Kyle Durst, and he runs some sort of like fashion. I think it's Rummage Reworks or something on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people should go check that out because I was very impressed. I think everybody else was, but like I was around people who knew him. They were like, "Holy fucking shit, that's Kyle!" And I was like, "What?" I didn't know him. I don't know him now, but he very impressive. Very impressed.
I was waiting for people to like congratulate me, like, "Way to get up there, Kyle!" when they heard the name, but nobody confused us. So that was a bummer.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So that was
Limp Bizkit. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I got to open up for a band that, like I said, I go way back with, and so it was a huge moment for me. But then, let's see, since then, just kind of floating by. Sundown just happened this last weekend that we went to.
It was a big one for us in a lot of ways because, as listeners know, we've been trying to get the podcast out there, get exposure as much as we can, and you basically worked out the idea that we could do the marketing video, video for Sundown.
Yeah. So if you're familiar and if you've been on our social medias, you probably saw the video where me and Kyle, we dressed as ghosts.
Yeah.
But we dressed as ghosts, like with literally, I went to Walmart and bought sheets, and then 30 minutes before we hit record, we
Not
cut
our finest.
holes for our faces. No, but it's memorable. It's for sure memorable, and it was good. I mean, a lot of good feedback from people. I mean, it was a fun shoot that we did. This was a couple weeks ago now, but it was a long day. That's the one thing that like I always am like when we're doing shoots like that. Yeah, I'm like, oh, it'll be 4 hours. It ended up being 6 hours of just filming, and then we had to edit that and quick turnaround. But it worked. I like it. I'm very proud of it.
We had BMW as one of the sponsors for Sundown. So our friend Tessa got us a BMW M4 that we got to drive around, this Ninja Turtle green that was pretty dope.
Dude, that was okay. So I'll post this video this week, but when we had to go pick up the car before we filmed, before we met everybody, the whole crew, and so we went out and picked it up, and this is a $94,000 car.
Yeah, convertible.
So it's nothing that I've ever driven before. So I was like, there's no way I want to drive this at all because it's a lot of responsibility, and they just let you like get in the car and just drive it off the lot.
They said keys are in the car.
They
Open the
trusted
garage.
you so much, dude. BMW was just like, oh, his name's Kyle? I trust him. Like
He did
sure.
great at Limp Bizkit, so he could do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. So I'll post some videos of Kyle and driving. So we still had like another 20 minutes until call time. And so me and Kyle, we got in the BMW, put the top down, and then we drove around downtown for like 15 minutes. And we had to drive by BMW one time, and we're waving, and like Tessa was like, "I think I saw you guys pass us." Like, yeah, we definitely
Nope.
were.
It was somebody else. It was another green.
turtle green, another green Z4. No, but surprising, and I guess not really surprising. It's a fancy car. It's beautiful, right? It's a beautiful BMW car. If I had more money, I would love to buy this car. But the one thing that I really noticed in that 15 minutes of driving, I was like, I understand why rich guys buy fancy cars now.
For sure. You get a lot of looks.
Dude, it wasn't just looks. So like when we started, we pulled out into the street, and it was like immediate. It was like people like whooping at us, like woo, nice car and like great color and whatever, rev the engine, like people all over. And it was like, everybody. And then like literally just people in cars where I could just see like their eyes just follow us like, oh, damn. Yeah. Like I could just read it in their brains.
It didn't help that I look like a complete douchebag with my like sunglasses on.
Well, that was when you filmed. We filmed for sure.
Well, but I was wearing them beforehand. You remember you gave them to me to drive around in.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
So, I mean, I was looking basically super dope. And I mean, if I didn't have my wedding band kind of like out in view, like I feel like people were going to start like jumping in. And I mean, it was wild. I was like,
Kyle's driving with one hand, which
sorry,
you shouldn't
boys.
He's driving with one hand like, hey, Mary.
I was doing my hand signals for turning. And, I was being safe.
Yeah, but, good.
Yeah, so that video turned out like really good. One thing you wrote the entire script essentially, like
I wrote the script.
Yeah,
but like
talked
it was
about
like,
some ideas.
Yes, I added everything in there from both of us. And it was actually, let's give credit where credit is due. It actually wasn't even our idea to begin with. Grant, who we've had on here before, DJ Gray, he actually he works with Showdown and put on Sundown with Ray and Helen and Chelsea and Natalie and the whole crew.
The whole team,
Yeah, the whole team. I'm sorry, I can't name everybody. But Grant was like, hey, I have this idea for Sundown, a Ghost of Sundown Past and Ghost of Sundown Present, and maybe Ghost of Sundown Future. And he was supposed to be in the video, and then like a couple days before he had to pull out because he had to do a wedding. So it was actually his idea. Let's give credit where credit is due. I just fleshed it out, and then both of us, we came up with some ideas and silly ideas. Yeah, Kyle came up with we can't coming as Romans or something.
If there's an adult joke in there, I'm gonna.
That was definitely Kyle for sure.
That was another thing that I was impressed because, when you get on site for doing like a video like that, you generally, when you think of a movie or anything like that, you're like memorizing your lines and you're learning them. Mm-hmm. We kind of did not do that. We had our papers that had all our lines on there. And I was impressed that we were able to kind of wing it enough that, we only had to shoot it a few times.
And that's how film shoots go, I think, at least when my experience is like the beginning, you like follow it to a T. And maybe you improv a little bit. I mean, we have for sure. But then it starts to get like a few hours later. And then like people are getting hungry or people are getting tired. And then you're just like, let's fucking wrap this shit up and get people going. It's like we're already a long time. So let's like compile everything. So it was a 7-page script for this little video. And so we definitely took those last like 3 pages and we put them to like
winged it
almost.
Yeah.
So definitely, we definitely winged the ending. And there's stuff I cut out, which maybe I'll post, like the hat throw and all that stuff. Sure. Just to cut that for time. But I was impressed on how it turned out. I was proud of myself and both of us for actually doing it. And then we came to actual Sundown, which was
festival.
this week, which is why I'm sick. The festival. So if you're not familiar, if you're not in Alaska, or if you didn't see the video, Sundown is a annual festival that is put on by Showdown Productions, and they bring up giant artists. We're talking like last year it was A$AP Ferg, bunch of DJs, What's So Not, Flostradamus, and then this year was big people like Chromeo and Big Boy, and We Came as Romans and Silverstein. So it was a very big deal this year. Then they moved it, and that's why they hired us, was to like, hey, there's a lot of new stuff for this year. So
different location.
Can you guys make a video that kind of makes it easy to digest? And I think that's something we're getting really good at, is like, if it's difficult to just put out in a graphic post, hey, we'll make a video about it and make it easy to digest. And so that's what we've done the last few times. And then, so Friday was Nightmare. Who else was there? Man, I feel like that was a lifetime ago.
I know. It was a long few days, and I was
Slander
there as much as you were.
Yes, Friday. Yeah, Friday was a bunch of DJs. Waka Flocka.
Yeah,
that was fun. I loved him. He's oh my goodness, he probably was one of my favorites I saw this weekend. And then Saturday happened, and then another thing too. It's like Friday we all woke up and it's raining, just pissing rain outside. So we're like, great, this is a way to start a 3-day festival. It's just gonna be raining. As soon as we get there, it's cloudy, but it's not raining. And then the sun opens up when like the headliners start to go on, and then the sun like never left the whole weekend. It was like and then of course Monday when it stopped, rain. It was like perfect. We got so lucky. And then Saturday was personal favorites. Chromeo played, and Big Boy was that day. Bunch of other people, and then Sunday was actually like my true favorite day. Even though I was like starting to feel like, hey, I'm
starting to fade down. Yeah, day 3 of a festival.
It's like I'm filming a lot of stuff, and then I'm going home at night, so we're getting home at like midnight, and then I'm starting to edit this little recap for the next day. And so it was like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., maybe 2 a.m., whatever. And so I'm like definitely starting to feel it by Sunday. I'm like, oh, it could be like allergies, I don't know. But Sunday was great because it was like We Came as Romans, Silverstein, Medium Build, our favorite,
Ray,
and then what?
Ray Shremon.
Oh yeah, Ray Shremerd. I'm not sure how you say that, but it was huge.
I just mumble
it. Was ginormous. Yeah, Ray Shremerd. The Black Beatles, the guy that remember
the song.
I always say like, the mannequin challenge. You remember that song?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. I was like, that's them, and they're like, oh, okay.
That song was a banger.
Dude,
Yeah.
I didn't realize they're like, I mean, I don't listen to them. I've only heard that one song, and I looked them up online. 10.6 million followers on like Instagram. I was like, oh, these guys are big. These guys are like, and then I was like, they just played Sundown, which was a very big deal.
Yeah, the Silverstein was a good little nostalgic moment for me because I've been listening to Silverstein for freaking 14 years or so.
Yeah.
It's like I remember some of their old stuff, and they're still doing it. They still got it,
and they're still great.
They played a really
impressed.
solid set. Yeah, and then We Came as Romans is always been a favorite of mine. It was weird because I was not super stoked on, it wasn't like a priority of mine. But then I was like, you know what? I've listened to these guys forever. I'm gonna go check out the set, and then I was like, dang, man, they were El Solid. Like it was good. Oh my gosh,
yeah. I was very impressed with We Car, which I didn't even know that was a thing until people started saying,
We Car?
"Oh, well, let's go check out We Car."
We
Came as Romans. Very impressed. I was like, I don't know. I there's a song called Dark Bloom.
Yeah.
And that's like one jam that like if it comes on my Spotify shuffle or something like that, I am just like repeat. Yeah. I love that song.
Dark Bloom.
Oh, whenever I heard it first, I was like, I just like love that intro.
Yeah.
And so when they played that live, it was like one of their last songs. I was just like, yes. Oh my gosh. What
There's a video
day.
of you on there. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
That was shared around.
Go to our Instagram at Go Fix Yourself Podcast, and you'll see the video of me and Kyle going through the weekend, and that was definitely one of the
Highlights for sure.
Highlights where I was dancing to "We Came as Romans."
Yeah. So I mean, that kind of like covers like what we've been up to the last few weeks, for even a couple months now. We have a lot of guests kind of in the wings coming in right now. We have a list that we keep running that's got about 20 something people's names on it that we are. And a few, as long as they don't reschedule, we have a couple coming that I think will be really fun to catch up with, like DJ Spencer Lee. He's been
he just scheduled today, actually.
I know. He's been a
Very
good friend of
proud of
ours
him.
for a long time.
Yep.
Huge supporter of just about everything we've done, because we did the Spinard prom video with him a couple years back.
Years ago. That was like one of our
first
like,
videos. Yeah.
promo videos that me and you did.
Yeah. That had to be
was
2018 or something like that.
Oh yeah, it might have been 2017, 2018, because I had just left my job.
Yeah.
It was like the day before that actual event, and I had just made that jump into freelance, and so it was like around that time.
Yeah.
That's cool. So we'll be able to reminisce about that when we have him on.
Sure.
But I'm excited because I feel like we have a lot of, I don't know, just different people coming on. From different walks, and I think that's the one thing we're finding out is like, and I guess this is a good segue into like where we see this podcast going, and it's called Go Fix Yourself, and it started like me and Kyle talking about we're getting better at stuff, and no, we quickly realized we are absolute dog shit at most stuff, but we are working on it. But I think the thing is like the go fix yourself, the go fix your worldview, or go fix how you perceive others, I guess, is something that I want to stick to. Something like having people on we don't know anything about their lives, and then trying to understand where they're coming from and why they do what they do, and just be there for people. We've had different people from walks of life, different people of sexual orientation, different people from musicians to artists,
political affiliations.
Right, like we've had conservatives, we've had liberals, and I think that's one of the things I really want to start honing in on, is like people that might not exactly do what we do, or we are, and this is how I've been saying it to some people, is like we are two guys from like a religious upbringing, and sometimes we don't know what other people's lives are like, and so we're trying to fix that and what we were sheltered on, and trying to get better at understanding how the world is working. So that's kind of where we want to take this, and so our guests are going to reflect that. Some are still going to be fun. We might just have like Bleeding Heart Brewery. Those guys, we've had them on before, but like the second time, it was just like a free for all of just fuck all. It's just like we had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
But
that
I
was
think-
a memorable one, because
Yeah.
it's like you're saying, is like we want to dive into some serious topics sometimes, and like when we had Golden Delicious on that was a drag performer, which would in a million years I would have never been like, that's what I'm going to be doing at 36, is I'm going to be interviewing a drag, and it was awesome because I mean it's
was
a life that I know nothing about, and the struggles that they face in their daily life, and really opening up to what they face each and every day. And it was good to learn about that, because I think it develops some empathy for other people that are not, like you're saying, we're just the two straight white guys that have a pretty easy life comparatively to most people. Mm-hmm. So it's good to get that exposure. And then, we're going to have the Bleeding Heart Brewery ones where we have Rice Krispie treats and some beers, and we're going to talk about some crazy stuff. And we're going to have politicians. We're going to have everybody on that we feel has something interesting to say. there's no limit to who it could be.
I like that. To piggyback off of what you were saying with Goldie too, is like, so that was a big episode for us because, that was one of our total stranger. Did not know her before they walked into the studio. Right. And so me and you both didn't know them, never seen them perform. So it was a little like nerves are running a little bit. Of course, through the end of the podcast, you'll hear it's like we get comfortable with each other, and but then we started posting stuff online, and I think that's where my brain changed a little bit, and that's where the actual fixing came in, because Goldie is doing what they love. We clearly heard that on the podcast. Like they're just doing something that they think is fun. They like it. They're passionate about it. I like music. I'm passionate about it. I like doing it. But I don't get fucking hate like Goldie does.
Right.
We actually had to, a lot of people...
Shut off the comment. Yeah.
We had to shut off the comments on these fucking videos because there was so much fucking hate for one person and what they want to do and passionate about. I think that was so dumb. I honestly was like, and if you're one of the people that, left hate on those videos, like, go fix yourself, really, because like that was, first off, it was eye-opening. Like, I've never been persecuted like that for something I do, or something I like and something I'm passionate about. If I had that much hate, I probably would be like, I should probably never do this again. But Goldie still does it and is brave about it, and it's like, whether people agree with it or not, it's like, it's not your fucking life. Who gives a shit like what they do?
Right. And what I've also noticed through my vast years of experience is you don't have to agree with what they're, you don't have to agree with what everybody's different, believes different things, whatever. But the rational people that I know that probably would disagree with that don't spread hate. They just don't say anything. They're like, hey, not for me or whatever, which I think is fine. That's a rational thing to do because you're not going to love everything, or maybe you're uncomfortable with it, and that's something you got to investigate yourself. But to go online and to say some of the things that were said, I think shows a bigger issue with that person than
100%.
It's just like you need to do some reflection on yourself if that's how you deal with problems.
Yes.
So
100%.
I don't know. It's all fun, like to give people exposure and see, what other people might learn about that, we're learning about as well. So,
we're excited for the future. I mean, we have merch coming out. You can't, if you're looking at the YouTube, you can see I'm wearing a sample shirt.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of samples, that aren't on the website just yet, but there is stuff on the website. So you can go to gofixyourselfpodcast.com if you want to buy a t-shirt or a hoodie or a hat. We got hats on, and I'm wearing my hat like constantly.
I know.
Yeah. And so that's just one thing we're doing. And if you've listened to this one and the last episode, you realize we're putting ads in our podcast. That's something new. Kyle and I have been doing this podcast for 120 plus episodes, and we haven't made a dime, haven't made a cent. And I'm going to be total, transparent here. Is like we're still not making money. We offered up free advertising to get our, dip our toes in the advertising world just to see what was, like out there and how to get into it. So with these ads that you're hearing, it's really just us trying
companies
it out.
That we like and that we feel like we want to expose our audience to. And it's, some people may not love ads. You can always fast forward through ads, but at some point, I think passion projects like this have to make sense financially to keep going. And because both of us have jobs and stuff like that, and those require time. And if something's taking a lot of time and not making money, our families would start probably being like, why are you doing it? So
exactly. Well, we're also, and we also have an editor. We have an
Yeah,
engineer.
editor.
We have producer. And so like we are building a team, but all those people, you know, we want to also compensate as well. So we are out of our pocket. And so we've been spending hundreds of dollars a week just to have one episode out where we're not making anything. And we're still not going to be making anything. We want to make sure we're like, you know, trying to do this all like the Go Fix Yourself way. Whatever that way it looks like, we have no idea. So we're just trying new things. So if you've heard the ads, you didn't like them, let us know. You know, if you want us to, you know, try something new, let us know. We'd appreciate that. But other than that, Kyle, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we finish this episode?
Yeah, I would just say we just appreciate everybody. The numbers have been going up consistently since we've been having guests.
We're going up from 2 to 10.
Yeah, we have quintupled our numbers. It's crazy. And so we appreciate like every message that we get of people that say they enjoyed listening to an episode or the comments or whatever you do that lets us know that you spent some of your valuable time listening or watching us means the world to us. We really enjoy this. This is a passion project that costs us money, but we enjoy each and every episode we get to do. And so we just want to say thank you to everybody that's tuned in so far. We're going to keep going. And if you have guests, sponsors, anything, shoot it our way and we will do our best to make sure you're getting exactly what you want. That's all I got to say.
That's a great way to end the podcast. Appreciate everyone. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Kyle and Steven will be back with a new episode next week. In the meantime, check out GoFixYourselfPodcast.com. And remember to always go fix yourself.